So I've had this topic on my mind for a while now. Um, I still get it in comments on socials, YouTube here, Instagram, etc. And it's not just me. It's everybody pretty much that makes DJ related content, specifically a lot of like gear and tips and tricks kind of content, educational content. And it's the idea of what's real and what's not. What's real DJing, right? Um, from the kind of techniques a DJ will use, the kind of technology a DJ will use, if they're on a certain format, meaning like CDJs, turntables, using a laptop, etc. Pretty much, you can throw it all under the umbrella of gatekeeping, right? Yo, that's not real DJing because you're using CDJs, turntables are real, and then it turns into yo, you're using turntables, but you're using a laptop, you're not using real vinyl, and the idea of that is, I mean, if you think back on it, you think back specifically hip hop DJing, right? Or just hip hop in general. It's a culture that is very ingrained with the idea of the battle, right? Or the idea of I'm better than you. And it's a showmanship thing. And I get it. It's competitive. Um, I've been a fan of hip hop for my entire life, pretty much. Um, Hip hop is the reason that I'm a DJ. Hip hop is the reason why I'm able to live the life I live. It's my source of income. I'm 100% blessed and 100% thankful for everything hip hop has given me. But the gatekeeping stuff needs to just stop, man. Like, I get it. You know, you want to say whatever you believe is what's real and what you don't believe in is not, and it's not worthy in some way or not in some way or another. But honestly, if you really break down what a DJ is doing, right? If you think back far, far back, DJs are supposed to provide the music to keep the party moving. That's where it stems from. Honestly, who cares how the DJ is doing it, as long as they're doing it right? If they're carrying the party and they're doing their job and everyone's having a good time, that's what really matters at the end of the day. Actually, now that I think about a year ago, one of my heroes kind of growing up as a young aspiring bedroom DJ, I was really into turntablism, scratching, beat juggling, all of that. That was the kind of DJ that I wanted to be when I first got my turntables and a mixer, right? I wasn't really into wanting to party rock and do that. I was just focused on wanting to cut and beat juggle, and I would spend hours in my bedroom with my headphones on, just cutting and scratching the same beat, playing on the other deck and just cutting fresh and R or whatever scratch sample for hours on end. And back in those days, this is before YouTube, um, a, a lot of the content we were able to digest as young aspiring DJs was watching old battle videos like the DMC World Championships or ITF or Turntable TV from the Scratch Pickles. And I was so hungry for all of that content. I would watch those videos over and over again. And I was so surprised last year when one of the DJs that I remember watching countless amounts of times when I was younger was calling me out. Excuse my dog. Was calling me out for promoting fake DJing because of the fact that I was trying to teach other DJs how to use technology in a different way to rock the party using a feature on a mixer or on Serato. And I get it in the battle aspect. Yeah, sure. There was rules and codes and but everything evolves, right? If that wasn't the case, like if you think back to when that guy was battling, like to go from the DJ mixers from the 80s that had really stiff crossfaders that would, be really hard to cut and scratch on, and the curve of the crossfader wouldn't be tight, so you couldn't get all those things like certain scratches off, or it'd be really difficult to even the Vestex mixers of the late 90s to the Rain mixers of the early 2000s that the cut-in was super sharp and you never saw something like that before. Isn't that the same kind of line of thought that a DJ that played on even rotary mixers that didn't have faders at all, jumping it up forward into technology where it's so much easier to cut because of that? Isn't that the same kind of shortcut? Just what I was doing was a little bit more updated, right? And I get it. Things change. Some people don't evolve with the technology, but I'm just out here really trying to teach other DJs how to get into it, because I'm the kind of person where if I love something, like music, art, whatever, I want to share it with as many people as possible, because I find joy, I find value in it. I want to show everybody that I think would enjoy it as well. Same thing with DJing, like, oh, I figured this thing out that makes this easier. Let me share it with a wide audience. And as much as it hurt me to hear someone that I spent hours and hours studying and just being in awe of their raw talent, to call me out for trying to share our art form with more people to make it more popular, was, I don't want to say heartbreaking, but just kind of disappointing. One of those moments where there's that phrase, never meet your heroes. It was one of those. And the only thing that made me feel better about it, really, was the fact that I had to think back on all the times sorry about that, I've ran into other DJs, or been in other cities, or played new venues that I haven't played before, and other DJs that I've never met before would come up to me and say, hey man, yo, you're P Dot, right? Yeah? Yo, thank you so much for this video or that video, or teaching me this, or I would have never thought of that until I watched your content. And the joy I get out of helping more people, or helping anybody, that's the real reason why, like, I make content, right? Yeah, I post like routines, and now I'm posting mixes and stuff, but the core of what I try to share with everybody is just teaching, just education, and just spreading the art of DJing in any way that I can. And besides that, DJ, just all the comments of people like, yo, you're not using vinyl, that's not real DJing, or yo, you're using a computer, that's not real DJing. Like, I get it. I get you have this idea of DJing in your mind, and whatever technology I might be showcasing, or whatever technique that I might be, trying to teach other people, that's not your version of DJing. But at the end of the day, I just think back to, like I mentioned, rocking the party and making people happy and making people have a good time. That's what DJing really is. Sharing music, playing music, and improving somebody's day by sharing your art and sharing your craft that you spent countless hours working on. That's real DJing. Now, there's so many different ways that you can get that across, either party rocking, or if you do a cool routine and somebody appreciates that, that's DJing too. But just because someone doesn't conform to what you think DJing is, doesn't negate what they're doing. There's this whole art form has grown so much over the decades, and of course there's going to be different styles and different ways people do things. And shouldn't that be celebrated, that the art form is growing and more people are coming into this art form because they, think it's cool, or they find joy in playing music for other people? And yeah, of course, there's plenty of people that get into DJing for the wrong reasons, either to become famous, or they don't care about the music, or whatever the case is. Sure, that happens in any industry. But if someone's doing something that's not hurting anybody else, and especially that's teaching somebody else, isn't that a positive? Shouldn't that be celebrated more often? And I'm not just speaking for myself, because I could care less what anybody thinks as far as like what I'm not doing is real or not real. Because at the end of the day, all I want to do is teach and inform other people. And I know like my reasons for doing this, but it really kind of stings when I see it happen to like other people, and people that I know that have the same kind of intentions and the same reasons for doing this. And another person will call them out saying, yo, that's not real, or yeah, or just have something negative to say. Like, it can all be summed up in what I'm sure a lot of our mothers and fathers and elders taught us when we were little, right? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But we live in an age now where everyone has the opportunity to say something. Not to say that's always a bad thing, but sometimes, actually, I take that back. If you're going to state an opinion, like have some reasoning behind it, and just why share more negative energy into the world? No matter where a DJ is in their journey, as long as they're not doing it for just fame or just clout or whatever you want to call it, and they like playing music for a crowd in front of them, that should be celebrated. And that's what really matters. The joy you can give someone else by sharing your art and sharing music with other people. That's what this is really about. And to me, that's what real DJing is.